we're expecting some movement in Mumbai. Abhishek continues to stay with us. Abhishek, two central agencies at this point of time probing the TRP case. With the ED now stepping in, what is going to be the focal point of the investigation?
Well, Shagarika, as I see it, first, it is going to create some jurisdiction issues. Remember, there is a case with Mumbai Police, the integrity of which has been under cloud. Then there was a separate FIR in UP, which was transferred to the CBI. So CBI is investigating it, and we know that CBI is a federal agency and has a national footprint and national jurisdiction. Though, of course, in the immediate aftermath of this case going to CBI, the Maharashtra Police had withdrawn general consent. But now with the Enforcement Directorate also getting in, and the Enforcement Directorate not needing that kind of general consent, and the fact that the Enforcement Directorate sources have told Shaman that they would be making the Mumbai Police FIR as the predicate offence, which means whatever is there in that FIR, that would become the source of primary information so far as the ED investigation is concerned. So you can imagine the complexity of jurisdiction issues now. As yet, we don't know how it would be sorted, but what is important is that given the cloud over the integrity of Mumbai Police investigation and the fact that they refuse to question or interrogate or investigate the names that were in the original Hansa report, this gives a very interesting twist to the whole the TRP ratings saga, and how it pans out from here on. We can only hope that there would be an element of integrity infused into the whole investigation. And so far as the ED jurisdiction is concerned, in response to your query, Saga, essentially, Enforcement Directorate is charged with investigating cases of money laundering under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The fact that the Mumbai Police had gone into some Hawala allegations, so maybe that could be the beginning.
Yes.
Mumbai Police has not been able to show anything. In fact, they have continued to move goalposts. So in that sense, as I see it, one, the Enforcement Directorate gets a direct leg in into the investigation that was being carried out by Mumbai Police about the integrity of which is under doubt. Two, it does create jurisdiction issues which at some stage would need to be sorted by a higher agency, possibly the judiciary. Sagarika.
All right, Shravan also stays with us as he has more details of the Enforcement Directorate's possible line of probe in the TRP case. And like Abhishek has also been saying, that the Enforcement Directorate's probe will now be based on the original FIR in the case, and that's where it all boils down to. Because the original FIR did not name certain channels, but names of channels have been taken in nationally televised press conferences by the top cop of the Mumbai Police. And that is why, Abhishek, it is the Mumbai Police's investigation, like you've been saying, that has come under cloud. So will the Enforcement Directorate, which will also seek details from the Mumbai Police to begin its probe, be it statements, and we've seen the kind of developments that have taken place and the kind of allegations that have come to the fore. There is also another aspect in this investigation. One is the fact that the CBI today also has with it a physical copy of a tape that was first published by Portal of India, which spoke about witness coercion, which actually raises questions of the Mumbai Police's investigation. Will all of this also be taken into account as it probes the money laundering aspect of the case?
Shagarika, if the question was to me, I would say the ED investigation by its nature has to remain within the PMLA domain. But then the fact that there is an element of coercion which is leading to wrong information coming into the Mumbai Police investigation, why not? So I believe that much, that element of the Mumbai Police investigation could be looked into by the ED as well. As I said, all these agencies work based on the information they gather during the investigation. And if the integrity of that information and hence the investigation is under doubt, they have wherewithal to investigate that also. So, Enforcement Directorate can have all those aspects of wrongdoing under its purview when it picks up threads and carries on with this investigation. And as we have been maintaining, there is a parallel CBI investigation also. Now, Mumbai police denying something which the Uttar Pradesh police wants investigated leads into the domain of federal relationships within the larger framework of federal structure of the constitution. So even that becomes an issue of constitutional law. And to that extent, as I said, someone would need to pick it up from here and decide whether the Enforcement Directorate should carry out an omnibus investigation or the CBI should carry out an omnibus investigation. And given, as I said, the doubt over the integrity of Mumbai police investigation, whether the courts should intervene at some stage.
Yeah. All right. Very, very important point there made by Abhishek. When it comes to the way the investigation in the case has gone on, we've seen multiple developments, especially after that press conference was held on the 8th. Today, the Enforcement Directorate, which is the second central agency to come in and take over the probe, it is a very significant development in the case. But ultimately, Abhishek, what does this go on to prove? I beg your pardon. Now, the CBI has taken over. CBI was brought in after an FIR was filed in Uttar Pradesh. The ED now has come in to probe the money laundering aspect of the case. After the probe completes, or after the probe is fast-tracked with two central agencies now stepping in, are you hoping and are you expecting that the real culprits of the TRP case are actually named and brought out before the people of the country?
Well, hopefully. I mean, as I have been maintaining, Sagarika, that from the day one itself, Mumbai police has really not moved in the right direction. Mumbai police has not moved in the right direction. They have obfuscated on the basic facts of the complaint based on which the FIR was filed. They have obfuscated on the basic facts of the complaint based on which FIR was filed, and then on the day of the press conference by Mumbai Police Commissioner, strangely, the names that were there in the FIR picked up from the complaint were not mentioned by the Mumbai Police Commissioner, and some new set of names, including that of Republic Media Network, was found.
Yes. All right. We'll try getting Abhishek back on the phone line. But for viewers who's joining us on this broadcast, there's been a very significant development in the TRP case. Number one, the ED, the Enforcement Directorate has filed an FIR, which is an ECIR in the TRP case. Now, based on this FIR, the ED will summon all the channels that were named in the original FIR. Point number three, the ED has will now take over the case in the next 24 to 48 hours, and Mumbai will be the hub of the investigation. This is one of the biggest developments so far in the TRP case since the 8th of October, when Republic Media Network was in fact named in a press conference, despite Republic Media Network's name and Republic TV's name not being there in the FIR. The Mumbai Police's investigation has come under scrutiny, and sources are telling us that the Mumbai Police investigation could also be under the scrutiny of the central investigation. There are some more breaking news inputs that are now coming in, which I would like to tell our viewers at this point of time, that, like we've been saying, it is the Mumbai Police's probe that is under scrutiny, because once the ED steps in, it will seek details from the Mumbai Police on the investigation that has been carried out so far. So what does that entail? It entails that all the statements that have been filed by the Mumbai Police in the investigation so far will be sought by the Enforcement Directorate, which is looking at the money laundering aspect of the probe. The second central agency that is probing the case is the CBI. It was on the basis of an FIR that was filed in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Now, while that FIR was filed in the state of Uttar Pradesh, the entire case and the CBI's investigation brought under the purview all the cases that come under the TRP scam and could have larger ramifications when it comes to the case in itself. Now, Abhishek, we were talking about how the Mumbai Police's investigation in itself, which has been under scrutiny for such a long time, could also be under the purview of the investigation of two central agencies now. And when that becomes a part of the investigation, what does this mean for the Mumbai Police itself?
Yes, Sagarika. So, I was actually disturbed by a string of phone calls. What I was explaining was that from the time of from the filing of FIR and then the Mumbai Police Commissioner's press conference. There has been peddling of wrong information, there has been misleading information, and there has been attempt to obstruct, true information. Now, with all these central agencies getting in, even the Mumbai Police would be under a scanner. So, for example, the coercion of witnesses, the tapes of which you were talking about, which are now in the custody of the Central Bureau of Investigation and are being looked into. The manner in which Mumbai Police has conducted itself, kept moving goalposts. Initially, they said that Republic paid money. They couldn't prove it, so they said that when it was found that, in fact, Republic was paid money as part of an advertisement deal by Hansa. The Hansa went to court. The Hansa issued clarification. There is a red petition of the Hansa group where they are saying that they are being threatened by Mumbai Police. The fact of advertisers being threatened by Mumbai Police because they wanted to create certain statements which
Abhishek, stay with me. There is some more breaking news coming in with regards to the investigation in the case. Stay with me. We have some information coming in. ED sources are also saying that it has merged all the existing TRP related cases. That's another big development that's now coming in when it comes to the central agency taking over the case. Point number 2, now all TRP cases will be clubbed under the Enforcement Directorate in Mumbai. All monetary transactions will be probed by the Enforcement Directorate. Big development. Number 2, the Mumbai Police is probed so far. Now, this is as per sources in the agency. The Mumbai Police is sources are, I beg your pardon, the ED sources are also saying that the Mumbai Police's probe so far could also be investigated. One part of the information that we've been breaking down for our viewers. And number 2, there is another information that's now coming in as per ED sources is that all witnesses and material will be investigated by the ED. So this means that Part 1 of the investigation will be seeking of all statements and probe details by the Mumbai Police in itself. And one of the biggest takeaways for me, Abhishek, is the fact that all the channels named in the original FIR will be probed. All right, Abhishek, stay with us. Shravan is joining us with more breaking news inputs. Shravan, big development here. You're telling us that as per sources in the Enforcement Directorate, the Mumbai Police's probe so far will also be investigated and will be under the purview of the probe that is now going to start with the ED stepping in.